Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video, and this is a paid request from Guillermo. Thank you so much for that. For those interested, requests in any type of videos, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, movie review, re-review, tier list, rankings, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. For those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. So this is for a film called Osiris, which I don't know why at first I wanted to go, Osiris, auto parts. I'm like, it's not O'Reilly, it's Osiris. Just something stupid, I don't know. Having fun, folks, just a review, having fun. But anyway, so this is a new sci-fi action film that it came out this year, right? I want to say it came out this year. The reason I'm hesitant is because, yeah, you didn't really hear much fanfare. Has a 4.7 on IMDb. And I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's a 4.7 bad. I mean, it is generic, as in it's nothing new. It's nothing you haven't seen before. But I thought it's one of those films that, okay, if it was the Sci-Fi Channel, let's say it's, I don't know, the year 2000. In the year 2000, it's the Sci-Fi Channel, and it's a rainy night, it's Saturday, Sunday night, and you're watching this on cable. You had kind of a fun time. There's a lot of action, a lot of shooting, people being badasses, and then the movie's over. I'll never watch it again, but I was there as a time waster, and there you go. While it does have its flaws, but it was that one of those kind of feelings. It was nothing that made me mad or angry or upset. And Osiris, it was directed by William Kaufman, who did a couple of Cuba Gooding Jr. action films, The Hit List. He also did One in the Chamber with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Dolph Lundgren. I wasn't really big on those films. This one, I'd probably say I liked more than those. And the recognizable people, there's Max Martini, who I recognize. He's the lead. Because he was in that awful Arnold film, Sabotage. He was the guy that, if you remember Sabotage, all two of you. The guy who was in his motorhome, and the motorhome got in front of a train, and he could not get out of it. And the train hits the motorhome, and it kills him. That's who Max Martini is. He's been in other stuff. And you do have Linda Hamilton in the film. Yes, Linda Hamilton from The Terminator, the original Children of the Corn, Dante's Peak. She's in this. She's not in it a whole lot, though. She doesn't appear until about the 56-minute mark. And even then, after that, she's in it. Probably the next 20 minutes, give or take. So she's not in it a whole lot. But I like Linda Hamilton. The plot of this is very, very basic, very straightforward, and it doesn't really give you any time to get to know the characters. Because right from the get-go, it shows a few images from space, and then the camera zooms down into the Earth, onto this battlefield, where the special forces are taking on the group of people in the middle of an operation. And I'm like, who is that? And who's this person? Who's that person? Now, eventually you realize, okay, you have Max Martini, who's the lead. You have this one guy named Rhodes, who is the second in command. Kind of the best way to put it. You have this guy named Nash, who is a guy who will freak out a lot. The others I couldn't really tell you a whole lot about. I mean, even then, like the lead guy, all you know is that he's the leader and he's got a little girl he wants to get home to. Very, very, very one dimension. I mean, there's really little to no characterization. There's no development because right from the get-go, you're in the action. Now, we'll say this. There is a lot of firefights. And that's why it was easy for me to watch the film, because most of the film is just firefights. Now, granted, the firefights is nothing spectacular in terms of the muzzle flashes or CGI, among other stuff. But I mean, there's a decent amount of shoot 'em up stuff. I didn't either. They're fighting the bad guys. After a bit of time, this ship hovers over both parties, and everything like turns to red. Both parties are wondering what the hell's going on, and this beam is shot down, and it kills all the enemy. And then the special forces are going, what the hell's going on? They look up. Then the next thing they know, they're in the stasis, and they get out of it. Now, I don't know how they got out of it. I don't think it's explained how they ever got out of it, but they got out of stasis. And one thing leads to another, they realize they're on a ship. For some reason, at times, each one of them has a gift that they know something, whether I know how to read this, or I know how to load this space gun, or I know how to do this, or I know how to speak Russian. You find out later why that's the case. But pretty much this group of, I would say probably 6 guys, they wake up, they're confused, they have these weird nightmares, which you kind of find out, no, they were, you find out later in this pretty big exposition scene. But until then, they wake up, they're confused, they get their weapons, and they pretty much go through corridors, they're searching, figuring out what the hell's going on. They find this Russian girl, and then here's the aliens, and they pretty much gotta chase and shoot, run and shoot, hide and shoot, run away and shoot. The team gets knocked off one by one. There are times they stop and they see like all these other cryo places where there's other people in there. Because apparently this group of aliens wants humans for food, for livestock. And pretty much that's like the rest of the movie. Until at one point what's left fall into this pool of blood with human remains, and they look up and it's Linda Hamilton. You find out Linda Hamilton is the mother of this Russian girl that they saved, and Linda's trying to do a Russian accent. That's not her forte. I kind of wish they didn't do that at all. Like, just don't have the lady be Russian or recast. Linda Hamilton is not the best in trying to do a Russian accent. I'm sorry. I like Linda Hamilton, but that's not her best feature. I'll put it that way. And that's the thing about this film. Like, it's a very simple movie. People trapped on a ship. They go from place to place, and they're shot at, and they shoot back. So it does come off as very generic. It does come off as a movie where you don't get to know much about the characters. So you go, why should I care about these people? Why should I care whether whether they live or die. I would say the look of the corridors is pretty bare. Very bare corridors. Very basic. So for a good chunk of the film, you kind of look at this very plain architecture of these corridors. Until they get to a spot where they do a little bit more with the backdrops. But at the end of the day, I like the look of the aliens. They're done practically. They look like something out of Doom. Or you know what? They kind of look like Nemesis from Resident Evil 3. I would say that's what they kind of made me think of. Like the original Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Especially the face. That's what made me think of. And you have this armor, and then at times they even have this plasma shield like this fucking Halo or something. So I like the look of the creatures. I thought they looked really cool and practical. It's hard for me to complain when there's a decent amount of action and shootouts. And sometimes they take the aliens down, and once in a while one of the men gets taken down, and so on and so forth. The characters, like I said, they're very bare bones. I guess I grew to like some of them just because of their actions. Where, eventually some of them did become some badasses. Whether it be spoilers. There's one point where they decide we're going to need some bait, bring the aliens in, and we'll do an ambush on them. So this guy decides to be bait, and he makes a run for it. And in fact, he's actually running through the corridors. Before that, he's singing this song about "In the City." I liked when he starts running, that song kind of gets implemented into the soundtrack. I thought that was a nice touch. And he's running, and then he's running around all these shipping containers, and leads the alien to an ambush where they get shot the fuck up. Now, there is CGI involved, and some of the wider backdrops, and the muzzle flashes and stuff, the bullet hits. That's why, if this kind of film was done in the 80s and 90s, there'd be more charm to it, because it just would not be so much fucking CGI. I appreciate that the aliens were not CGI. I really do appreciate that. But then again, the other idea, if it's a wider backdrop, then it's CG in the backdrop. Again, the muzzle flashes are CG. If the aliens get hit, it's CG. So, okay, whatever. But while the characters don't really have a whole lot to them, sometimes it's nice to just see people, kick some ass, including alien ass. Whether it be the one guy Rhodes, and spoilers. Because, the rest of the film is just them find the aliens and back and forth, and eventually come up with a plan to blow up this communication room so that they don't get their buddies and get more of them there. But anyway, there's a guy named Rhodes. He goes out like a badass, where he saves the lead guy and he's shoot. I kind of wish Rhodes was the lead. The guy Max Martini is fine, but Rhodes, actually, I would say I liked him more because he's the guy who knew how to use the space gun, and he killed more of the aliens. And I liked his demeanor a little bit more than the lead. The lead was fine, but that's the thing. The lead was okay. Okay, I don't think the lead... He was fine in terms of... I could buy him as the leader of a special forces guy. I could buy him in that role. Do I wish he was more of a name? Yes. Whether it be... Hell, if you put... even Jean-Claude Van Damme, or Dolph Lundgren, or where they don't have to use martial arts, but just, with guns and barking orders, or a Tom Berenger, or I'm just trying to think, Wesley Snipes, like some other more named actor. I think that would have been pretty cool. Max Martini, I'm like, he's there. I don't hate him, but he's just there for me. I did his second command Rhodes, something about him I liked more. Something about his demeanor I liked more. And he's the guy who gets the space gun. He's able to shoot a lot of the aliens early on, while the others eventually do with their weapons as long as they shoot him in the head. But he does like a badass. He saves the lead. He's shooting the aliens. He's down with his pistol. He charges that to them. Shoots a couple of them. He just grabbed. He has the grenades. He goes, fuck you. Blows it up. He was more badass than that fucking guy in Predators. The Spetsnaz guy. Like this. Funny enough, I'd probably rather watch this than Predators. Because these guys I bought more as badasses than the guys in Predators. These guys I bought more. So there's your praise. I like this more than Predators. Because it wasn't just a fucking remake of Predator that was shit. And I buy this guy more than Adrian Brody as a lead. To be a tough guy. But like this guy Rose, one of the badass. There's this guy Nash that I'm like, okay, he may seem annoying at first. He's pretty much the Hudson. Bill Paxton and Aliens, that guy, he freaking out. I believe in two things, Jesus and Dolly Parton. But I will say, interesting enough, he won me over later on. And yeah, just spoiling the whole thing does just what I do. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, you've been warned. The reason I repeat this is that sometimes I think people don't hear it when I say it the first time. So hopefully if I say it 3 times, some people will get the hint. But anyway, the guy Nash, I warmed up to him because there would actually be moments where he would calm down and he would stop acting like a pussy, because it seemed like in another film he'd be the guy that would get killed early on, or he would screw over people, or he'd be the human villain, or he would do something to save his own skin, save his own ass. No, he doesn't do that. When one of his buddy dies and the Russian girl is talking to him, he doesn't snap at her, he doesn't get pissed at her, he's nice to her, and then he asks about her friend, and he apologizes that, I'm sorry that happened to your friend. I thought that was a nice moment. And there's a point where the lead guy is hung upside down, is ready to get killed, and this guy comes in, kicking ass with a shotgun, and saves him, and is there toe-to-toe, and shoot with the shotgun, or shoot with the alien laser gun. And then when the leader has no more bullets, he gives the laser to his guy, to his leader, and then he starts shooting with the shotgun or the pistol, whatever else he had. Well, okay, this guy's actually manning up. Then as soon as I start to like him, they kill him off. So I would say it kind of in a way I liked Rhodes and Nash more than the lead. I kind of wish those two survived instead. But yeah, I don't want to... Like, the lead guy is there. He's fine. It's just, The others, I just liked them a bit more. But yeah, there's this big exposition scene where Linda Hamilton explains pretty much the whole plot. While you were in isolation, you were in cryo sleep, I should say, for like 20, 30 years, 40, Yeah, like 20, 30 years. And the Earth was invaded, and they got beaten in a few weeks. And your nightmares was them looking at your brains to look at, to play war games with you and figure out how best to conquer our military. And the transfer goes both ways. So while they're looking to your brain, you're able to grasp something. That's why you're able to speak Russian, or this guy was able to know how a space gun works. It's a very kind of lengthy exposition to have to explain all this shit. And then the idea is that we need to destroy the communications because more aliens will come and get these people that are in these pods because they want them for livestock, for food. So we gotta destroy the comms. And they go on their way to do it. If you're looking for anything with depth or any originality, this doesn't have it. It very much is a run and gun movie. They're shooting and shooting and shooting at the beginning. They wake up, they search around, then they're chasing, they're shooting some more. And the firefights may get a bit tiring because they don't really do a whole lot new. There's not a whole lot of creativity in terms of how to make the fight scenes differentiate from one to the other. And again, you could tell the low budget difficulties they had. Again, for the most part, the environments, the set design is pretty basic. The use of CGI and some of the, again, wider backdrops, or again the muzzle flashes. The very end of the film, super spoilers, all that's left is the lead guy and the Russian girl. You realize that the ship they've been on was on Earth the whole time, and they pop open the hatch and they see that Paris has been decimated, which is the invasion. So it seems like it leaves room for a sequel, but I highly doubt that you'll ever get a sequel. Like I said, I don't think it's 4.7 out of 10 bad. I did get where people are coming from. I just don't think it's that bad. It didn't. It's hard for me to get mad when you have a group of tough hombres shooting the shit out of aliens for a chunk of time. You know what I mean? For me, there's some basic fun to be had. I don't think the film needed to be this long, though. I think it could have been cut down to, because it's almost 2 hours. It's like an hour and 50-some minutes long. I think a good 10-15 minutes could be shaved off here and there. Because again, it doesn't have much for characterization, doesn't have much for character development. The aliens, they look cool, but they all look the same, as in they all kind of have the same face, the same type of armor. I guess there's one leader that they call Star. Although, maybe with my glasses, I couldn't really tell him too different from the rest. But yeah, the actors, I thought they all did fine for what they were given. I do. I think the actors did their jobs well enough with how little they had on the page. The dialogue they have is kind of your basic stuff, military stuff. I wouldn't say there was a whole lot of other memorable pieces of dialogue that I could think of. It depends. If you just want to see a movie where a bunch of tough guys... I mean, you want to see a bunch of tough guys fight an alien, you watch Predator. But if you're doing this for Linda Hamilton, she's only in it for 15-20 minutes. She doesn't pop up to 56 minutes into the movie. And even then, Like, she's not good at act. I don't think of Linda. I don't think of as the girl to do accents. So it was nice to see her. I'd rather watch this than fucking Terminator Dark Fate. Doesn't mean with all the issues I've said and all the issues I've brought up. Sometimes here. It's not too long before you get another firefight. Oh, the big guy, the big dude is using the laser gun and shooting aliens in the face. Okay, they're shooting back and forth. I will say sometimes the aliens do shoot like stormtroopers, where they can't hit for shit. So they must have learned from the school of stormtrooping. Because sometimes, like, again, these aliens will shoot, and I'm like, how the fuck are they missing? Like, and I still don't get how they escaped the trial places in the first place. And then I'm also thinking, wait, their guns are fully loaded? Why? And then the way Linda Hamilton explains it, oh, where you were at, it was a trophy room. So you were souvenirs. And I'm like, so that still explains... That's supposed to explain why, okay, it's a trophy room, but also, okay, there's other people that have trophies of their fucking guns. Doesn't mean you load them all with bullets. I don't know. That's a weird trophy room. And okay, you like the people, the soldiers, but you don't load up with bullets too? You used to have a trophy room with empty guns. It's like, we gotta find a way to give them bullets, so this is a way to do it, I guess. Okay. If you say so. I forget what was the other thing I was gonna bring up. I forgot what the hell it was. This is a very simple movie. I had some fun. Compared to all the films I fucking watch, this was a time waster. A flawed one, but it was a time waster. Again, if this was 2002 and I have the Sci-Fi Channel on, I'm okay, I'll watch the rest of it. Okay, you know what? It has enough action to keep my attention, and you know, the good guys are tough ass hombres, and the aliens are done practically, which is cool. It does have flaws, like I mentioned before. Linda's accent, some of the CGI with the muzzle. I'm repeating myself on that, but as is. If you want to see soldiers fight aliens, and the aliens kind of look like Nemesis from Resident Evil, Linda Hamilton's involvement, disappointing how little she's in it. You know, it is what it is. Then the lead, I wish it was someone else as the lead. I think that would have helped my opinion of this film more. Like Treat Williams in Deep Rising works very well in that movie. Hell, if it was someone like Dean Cain, I think that would cool. I would cool with Dean Cain as the lead. That's one of the reasons why I could watch a film like Boa, or what was the fucking movie? Dragon Fighter? That's the thing, like those films, because I really like Dean Cain, and yeah, the films are flawed, but I could watch it because of Dean Cain. So you need someone like a Dean Cain, like that kind of guy as the lead. Then I really would have gotten into, you know, try to think of other people. Anyway. One of the reasons I like Doom, although the first half is very slow, is I really like Carl Urban. So for me, that does help a lot for a lead guy. Even if there's not a lot of development and backstory, just me liking the guy and just seeing him in another movie. Sometimes with my brain, that just helps me out a lot. That may seem facetious or simple or not really, I don't know, being, I don't know what the word I'm thinking of. I don't fucking know. It's late. I'm tired. I don't fucking know. This review's already 30 minutes long. It's too long, but fuck it. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you guys later. Take that for you will. Bye-bye for now.